And good morning, America. It is Wednesday, October the 19th, 2022. This is Common Sense America. I am Eden Hill, and thank you so much for joining us on this very cold Wednesday morning in Chester County, Pennsylvania. It is great to be up here visiting with family and friends. It is great to explore the beautiful harvest season in the fall up here in Chester County. So thank you so much for joining us on this journey this week. We have a great show for you ahead in just a few minutes. I wanted just to send a quick thank you out to Defenders Live radio stream. Thank you so much for carrying Common Sense America. Also to many other Eastern North Carolina and North Carolina marketing and media outlets, Eastern North Carolina Now, Beaufort County Now. They are carrying Common Sense America and are a huge support to Common Sense America. So thank you. Also, I wanted just to share with you before we head into In the Kitchen with my Hungarian Mamma Mia. I did learn a lot yesterday, and this week while I've been home, I've been getting tutorials in the kitchen, whether it is cooking a home good meal or also baking for the holiday and harvest season. But before we head into that, I also wanted to share with you this morning, we are just 19 days until midterm elections. And this morning I was looking at the news headlines, and I will share with you briefly this morning what has been brought by the legacy media, ABC News. I do know many people who watch it in the evening, but I also do know that legacy media is being tweaked and tampered and censored. And so I will share with you what legacy media is reporting with regards to midterms. But I also want to share with you, again, the Daily Signal, which is a part of the Heritage Foundation based in Washington, D.C., and some of their news items that hit the waves this morning that are of very concern to our states, to our elections, and to our country, as some of the news headlines are stating, is America ready for China to look to Taiwan? That is one of the biggest things. It is stating on the Daily Signal, is America ready for China to invade Taiwan? That is one of the main news headlines this morning that maybe not necessarily legacy media will share with you, but the Daily Signal is. And I do encourage you to go to the Daily Signal. It is a great news source if you are looking for accurate information. That is where I go, along with Family Research Council, along with Newsmax TV, One America News, and Real America's Voice, and also Fox Business. Those are great outlets to navigate what is happening on the local, state, and federal level. And also what is happening to our dollars and cents. Where is our money going? How much more is Biden taking from us? Also, on a lighter note, for those who love the holidays and who are getting ready for harvest, for Thanksgiving, which is just next month, and also the Christmas holidays, and the season, we are at 36 days until Thanksgiving. I know that sounds crazy, but it literally is right around the corner. So we have a lot to look forward to. And today and also Friday, we will be bringing some comfort food harvest recipes that are easy to do in the kitchen with you and your family, or if you have guests that have arrived in town and you want to whip something up really quickly, you have the recipe I will be sharing with you mid-morning, apple crisp from my Mamma Mia's kitchen. Also tomorrow, and actually this morning after the show, I will be heading to Milburn Apple Orchard with a friend of mine. She's going to be touring me around Chester County and also going across the border into Maryland to look at some of our patches, our orchards, and we'll be sharing some of that footage with you on Friday as well. Also, tonight, my father and I have a great honor and privilege to go up to Bucks County tonight for the Battleground radio tour that Salem is putting on. Zeb Gorka, Krista Gall for the morning drive, 9:90 a.m. They will all be there. I believe Hugh Hewitt, maybe Dennis Prager, maybe Mike Gallagher. I think I'm throwing in a couple names that may or may not be there, but it is going to be a power-packed night, and I'm excited to bring some of those news stories to you tomorrow morning for our News of the Day part of our show. And also tomorrow, we will be bringing back to the show Young Voices. They have amazing contributors. This is a new one who you have not heard from before. And we're going to be talking all things of what is going on in our economy and the crime that's happening in our big cities. So that is something we will be talking about tomorrow. But I want to go over a couple of the news headlines with you. And hey, North Carolina, for those who are tuning in from the great state of North Carolina, I will be back on Monday, back at home in Eastern North Carolina, back in time as we head into early voting, back in time as we prepare for what is happening in the battleground state of North Carolina. Have you educated yourself yet on those candidates? You better, because it could be do or die as it comes down to election day and our midterm elections. I will tell you this, Legacy Media reported that ABC reported that surrogates and celebrities are hitting the campaign trail and headed to North Carolina and headed to Pennsylvania. Well, guess who we get to see? Oprah. Oh, who cares? Oprah's come and gone, hasn't she? I mean, come on, people. Send me some info. Send me some insight if Oprah is still around and still relevant. But she's hitting the campaign trail. Also, former President Barack Obama, who may or may not be still the acting president, he's hitting the campaign trail too. Not necessarily interested. Tell me if you are. I'm not. Okay, other celebrities that they're quoting will be in North Carolina and Pennsylvania. I have Senator Cory Booker. How is he a celebrity? From what I know of him, he takes pictures with terrorists on Capitol Hill. Also, we have coming to North Carolina. Oh, Dave Matthews Band. Wait a second. I thought they were old news. My point in saying this is we have a lot of people that the Legacy Media claims that these celebrities, Bon Jovi, Bruce Springsteen, okay, they may be names from the 80s and the 90s and early 2000s, but how are they relevant in our culture today? All I see relevant in our culture today is a bunch of celebrities coming out supporting Democrats, but they're not really saying or doing anything. They may be putting on performances to draw in the crowds, but are they really drawing in the crowds to get people to vote? I don't think so. I think people are done with these performances and these acts. Nobody believes you anymore. We don't believe you. We're not interested. You don't lift the good, the true, and the beautiful in the culture. All you do is make it worse. So if you want to just hang it up, go ahead and hang it up. We really aren't interested. North Carolina has had an influx of transplants from New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Ohio, but they're not coming to North Carolina to see more of what they left in the North. They're fed up with it, and they're looking for freedom. So, you know what, Senator Cory Booker, go back to Jersey or go back to Capitol Hill. David Matthews, Oprah, she's come and gone. She's not relevant in the media anymore. But anyway, who am I? I'm not Legacy Media. I'm a podcaster, I'm a radio host, and I bring you the news of the day, and I go through it and want to bring you truth and accuracy at Common Sense America. I'm here for a reason. For such a time as this, I ran for State House, and you know what, Eastern North Carolina, you better look out. I'm coming right back. I was with family yesterday, and they said, are you going to run again, and how was your journey on the campaign trail as we are talking about campaigns this morning? My campaign trail was phenomenal. Yes, there were a lot of crooks on the other campaigns. There were a lot of illegal activities on the other campaigns. They even tried to have me arrested. That's how legal and the crap that they pulled during the campaign trail. But I'll tell you what, I loved every minute of serving the public and being on the campaign trail. I love America. I am honest. I am above reproach. And for such a time as this, God has called me to expose the truth on this show. My time will come. I will get to serve yet again the public in a different way. But for now, I get to expose the truth. And I'm not going to be center or left of center. I had a radio show ask me to host their show. Stay center, please. I said, no, Jesus did not call me to stay center or left of center. I am going to talk about what I believe in. I am a conservative. I'm a Christian. And you know what? Biden continues to target us as extremists. What is that about? You know what? I love your comments, your questions, your guest suggestions as we talk and we break down what is happening across our nation. Christians and conservatives are the ones that are fighting to preserve the values of our faith, our family, and our freedom. Not destroy it, not take it away. You know, something that goes along those lines is a Vermont father who was fighting for his daughter. And it came out in the Daily Signal this morning, and I'm going to read this to you really quickly. Here's the news headline this morning in the Daily Signal. A Vermont school district suspends father of girl who pushed back against biological male in her locker room. This is, again, I'm citing thedailysignal.com for those who want to read the full story. The story begins, a Vermont school district under fire for allowing a biologically male student to use the girls' locker room has suspended a father from his position as soccer coach for using male pronouns to refer to the trans-identifying student. Oh, give me a break! Travis Allen has been suspended without pay for his job as the Randolph Union Middle School girls' soccer coach. His suspension follows a Daily Signal reporting highlighting his daughter's discomfort at a biological male using her locker room while she was changing. Okay, process that for a second. The superintendent, who did not immediately respond to a request for comment from the Daily Signal, said that Allen was being punished because he misgendered a transgender student in our district. Quote, end quote. Can I repeat that back to you again? Because I'm having trouble processing this crap. And that's what it is. He was punished because he, quote, misgendered a transgender student in the district, end quote. Allen's daughter, Blake, is one of several, not just one, several young ladies who said they were in the Randolph Union High School locker room changing when the trans-identifying student, a biological male, entered the locker room. Okay, get ready for this next paragraph because this is what is most concerning. And if you are listening or watching this podcast later, I would love your thoughts and your comments, especially those who I work with, friends, family, and also colleagues who are in the school system. Whether you are a director of a homeschooling learning pod, whether you are at the highest levels of government working on education and workforce, whether you are a school teacher, whether you are working as a candidate to prevent this indoctrination happening, I would love your thoughts on this news article. Several girls who spoke with the Daily Signal said that they had asked the transgender identifying student to leave, but that student did not immediately do so. The girls said that the student stood in the corner and looked at them while they were changing, causing them to feel uncomfortable. Okay, you guys, when's this going to stop? Are we going to continue to allow this crap to happen to our kids in our schools? I have many kids. My husband and I have many kids that we mentor, that we spend time with, that are our God kids. We don't want them having to be subjected to this crap, this indoctrination, this woke crap that you're shoving down students. They're going to get an education, not indoctrination. Dr. Linda Lee Tarver, who was on our show on Monday, she spoke to this, and we need to continue to fight this. It's ridiculous that this gentleman is being suspended without pay because he was standing up for his daughter in protection. He doesn't want her to get raped. He doesn't want her to get assaulted. He doesn't want any of the other girls to be subjected to this. That is bullying. That is assault. If you want to hear more about this article and follow the story, go to dailysignal.com. No, they have not hired me to promote them, but they put out the good, the true, and the beautiful. They also put out newsworthy stories. You need to read this article. It is 9:17 a.m. Eastern Time. It is Wednesday, October the 19th. And as we are doing news of the day and the morning stories, I would love your thoughts. We have a lot to talk about. And we have a lot that is ahead of us as we head into the midterm elections and as we also prepare for 2024. As you see behind me, I am in Political Central. I am here in our home, my parents' home in Chester County, Pennsylvania. I was raised in a conservative faith-based home, conservative Christian home, and I'm proud of it. And I'm proud of the legacy that my parents fought for my brother and I. I'm proud of the legacy that my husband's parents fought for him. That generation is a very special generation. And we need, as caregivers, as grandparents, as godparents, as parents, as mom and dads, aunts and uncles, we need to believe and protect these children from what is happening to them in the schools. It happened in Fairfax County, Virginia. It happened out in Loudoun County in the Ashburn area. So many parents are on the front lines, whether it's Moms for America, Moms for Liberty. They are out on the front lines fighting for the parental rights, fighting to protect their children. This is not the end. This is just the beginning. On that note, I'm going to take a quick break, and then I'm going to tee you up for some home cooking, comfort food, harvest celebrating, getting ready for Thanksgiving and the holidays, spending time in the kitchen with a 1969 Betty Crocker cookbook, a family recipe, apple crisp. We are highlighting some of the local establishments here in Chester County, and we will be right back. And we are back, and I have the honor to celebrate harvest, an early harvest with my family here in Chester County, Pennsylvania. First and foremost, I want to thank Maple Arch Farm, Parksburg, for sharing with us some of their pictures. They had those pumpkins that I just showed you. They were prize winners. They are located in Parksburg, Pennsylvania, which is Chester County, Pennsylvania. Also, I am highlighting the Betty Crocker cookbook, copyrighted 1969 apple crisp recipe. And also, I want to thank Will Baker for his music. And it was I-95 that I play almost every morning. It gets me jazzed up and ready for what is ahead for the day. So I would love to share with you about 11 minutes of in the kitchen with my Hungarian Mamma Mia, and here we go. And good morning. It's Wednesday, October the 19th, and this is Common Sense America, live from Chester County, Pennsylvania, in my parents' home, in my mother's kitchen. She is a Hungarian Mamma Mia, and we're going to learn how to make apple crisp. Or rather, I am, since I have our new aprons on, and I don't wear aprons with pearls much anymore. Who does that remind you of? Donna Reed? Maybe. And we are highlighting here an ancient, is it Betty Crocker?
Yes.
Cookbook?
46 years old.
Okay.
And I've been cooking out of it, as you can see, with all the stains for 46 years.
Okay. So talk to us about your apple crisp.
Well, I started making this apple crisp, I guess, when the kids were little, and it became a family favorite right away. So I just make it all the time whenever Eden's coming home, or I'm taking it to our son's birthday celebration because he wanted a special dessert. So I made apple crisp, and it was cleaned up. It was a hit.
You mean cleaned up? It was all gone.
All gone. It was all gone in one sitting.
Oh, okay. Now, do you put it with vanilla ice cream? Turkey Hill vanilla ice cream?
You can, but we chose to eat it just plain. It stood on its own because it was so good.
Okay.
And what I decided to do, it just says 4 cups of tart apples. I mix several different kinds of apples in it to give it a nice flavor. I use tart, I use a little bit of sweet, and I use a good cooking apple, which is Macintosh. I use Yellow Delicious, and I also use Granny Smith.
Okay, so you use 3 different apples.
3 different apples.
Okay, so Granny Smith, Yellow Delicious, and
Macintosh.
Macintosh
has always been a really good cooking apple because it breaks down nicely and it's not crunchy. It's nice and soft.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start cutting apples. I have a special pan. We'll get the oven warmed up to 375, and we'll just get busy. Okay, here we go. Gotta wash them. Remember to wash them, please. So I'm going to have, and I slice the apples thin, not paper thin, and not chunky either.
So what are you doing to the pan right now?
I'm spraying it so it doesn't stick.
So talk to me like you would be talking to someone who's learning to bake for the first time. Evidently, my northern cooking skills don't translate into the southern home, southern living.
Well, some of these apples are pretty hard to cut, so you need to really work at them to get them open.
Have you found over the years with all the different apples, do you have any other quick tips, or is it just basically cutting them?
It's just basically cutting them. I guess there's quicker ways of doing it, but I make sure the core is out and the peelings are off.
Now, how many apples do you usually do per type of apple for the apple crisp?
I have about 7 here. We'll see how much it fills the pan. So when I slice them, I'm making them like this.
Mm-hmm. So thin slices.
Thin slices. It takes a long time to do. It may take you a half hour or so just to get this prepared. Just depends on how quick you can slice them. And
So basically, it's not the quickest recipe, but it is a very tasty recipe.
oh yeah, you need to have some time. Sometimes when your company is in the living room talking and you're getting the rest of the meal prepared, you can quickly put this together and stick it in the oven so when you're having dinner, they can smell it cooking. The smell is amazing.
So you started making this during the November or the Burr holiday season?
I imagine I did. I don't remember when it started. And I don't remember my mom making it. I think it was something I just decided to do and began doing it.
So do you think you could do this with other types of fruits, right? With peach, you could do a peach crisp and,
Oh yeah, you could do
and a cherry crisp or a blueberry, blackberry crisp.
yes, there's many things that the topping that goes on is versatile. It can be used with many different types of fruits. Okay, now we're going to make the topping that goes on the apple crisp. As you can see, the apples are all pared and put into the pan. Nothing but real butter. You got to use real butter. And I usually use about a half a stick.
Oh, come on. You don't want to use more than that?
No, I may add more.
I'd rather do a full stick.
No, that's too much. It's too greasy.
Oh, it does make it too greasy if you add too much?
Yes, you don't want to do that. I'm going to cut this up into little chunks. Okay. Then we have to add 2/3 to 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar packed. I don't measure the brown sugar, I just put it in. Until I get it all packed in there, I just might as well just put it in here. I just do it by how it looks.
I love it. So you don't use any measuring?
Oh, well, yeah, I do. And it says half a cup of oats. I think that's half a cup. Or is it
Yeah.
half a cup? Okay.
Yeah, that's 1/4. No, it is 1/2. How old is this cookbook?
46 years old. So
46 years old, so it's a year older than me. 1976.
and I had gotten some nice organic oats from one of the local markets. And we have to do a little cinnamon.
What's wrong with the cinnamon?
It doesn't want to come out. So I gotta encourage it. All right, then we use a little flour.
Do you measure this or you just plop it in?
Well, it says half a cup, so you don't want to have too much flour.
Okay, because that takes away from the goodness.
Yes, more brown sugar is better, you see.
So there's really nothing healthy about it, even though it is apples.
Right.
Okay.
It's just yummy, yummy comfort food. So the best way to get it mixed is to break it up with your fingers.
Okay.
Because the butter, I softened it for most of the morning, so it's nice and soft.
Okay, so do soften the butter. Take it out of the refrigerator and soften it.
You let it get room temperature nice and soft, because if you put it in the microwave to make it soft, then you're going to have too much liquid.
So room temperature butter, real butter.
Real butter.
Salt butter with salt or
Yeah.
just
Real butter.
Okay, mama.
Gotta have some Jersey in here.
Okay, get the Jersey in there. Are you using that Hungarian tukis for the energy to?
So,
Okay, so what's next?
well, I'm making sure it's all mushed together nicely.
Okay. And then you put that on top of the apples?
Yes.
Okay.
But I want to make sure I have enough.
Consistency? Do you have little clumps or do you let it have little clumps? What do you do?
Just small clumps,
Okay.
because it's all going to melt together once it gets into the oven.
Okay.
But I wanted to make sure that it's all nicely put together.
Okay.
Put together.
Okay, you're putting it together.
So you can see it looks kind of crumbly.
Yeah, so that's how you want it to look?
Yeah, and you can see the brown sugar is more prevalent than the flour.
Okay.
And you can see a little bit of the yolks.
Okay.
So we're going to dump this on top.
Okay. And cover the whole thing, right?
Cover the whole thing.
Do you ever make extra?
For the topping?
Yeah.
No, I usually try and eyeball it, and it usually comes out right.
Okay. So what next, now that you covered it? Do you put more butter on top?
Nope.
Okay.
Put it in the oven.
For how long?
It says 30 minutes.
Okay, so usually, is it a full 30?
Yes, and sometimes I put it back in until I see it nicely toasted brown with bubbles coming around the side. Then you know it's good.
Okay. So,
sorry for the hands, but that's the only way to get it mixed.
So you put it on 375 for how long again?
30 minutes.
30 minutes. And then we'll pull it out, and then Turkey Hill ice cream, vanilla bean.
If you want to, or whipped cream is good.
Whipped cream. And with Zabar's coffee. I see we have Zabar's coffee in the house as well. So
you could do that, but it stands on its own. All right, well, here we have it out of the oven, golden brown, nice and bubbly, and looks very yummy to serve to a family who is waiting patiently for the yummy food.
How many do you think that would feed?
This would probably be good for 4 people. You could probably make it make a larger serving and add more apples to it, and more, of course, ingredients to make the topping, the crumb. But this would be good for about 2 people.
Okay. So thanks to Betty Crocker and the local apples, right?
Absolutely. And most important thing is having family together to eat. That's what makes me the happiest, is having family together.
And for all of those who are tuning in, that was our first cooking segment with my Hungarian Mamma Mia. That is the apple crisp from the Betty Crocker, copyright 1969. Mom said that she had had it for about 46 years, so I'm guessing it was a gift for her wedding in 1976. So I am thankful that we were able to film that cooking session for the apple crisp, and you heard some of her comments at the end. I did post on our social accounts on Facebook and YouTube for those who are watching on all the different channels, the different aspects of baking the apple crisp, from the peeling and the slicing to the size of the pan to the temperature and to what to serve it with, and also that crumble topping. Obviously, she said she used real butter, and that is salted real butter, and she left that out for room temperature. Don't microwave it because it does not make the crumble the best way possible. Leave it out for room temperature. And as you saw, she used her hands. Now we are love, working in the kitchen. That is her area. That is her domain. And as you saw me standing to the sidelines, that's what it usually looks like for the holidays as well, when it comes to her and her rhythm in the kitchen. But I hope you have enjoyed the apple crisp segment of our show on Common Sense America. Thank you to my mom for doing that. She's also going to be bringing to us live on Friday morning apple pie, which will be a lot of fun. On that note, we're going to take a quick break, and then we will be talking about upcoming news stories and what we're going to be featuring for the rest of the week as we head into the midterms. We will be right back. And we're back. I wanted to thank all of you for tuning in. I wanted to read some of the Facebook comments that we received yesterday as we were posting some of the quote promo images of us in the kitchen with our aprons. I think that is the first time I've ever worn an apron that I can remember. Living a northern girl in a southern world, my husband does all the cooking. So hat tip to my hubster. Thank you for all the cooking that you do for us and all the we don't necessarily bake. I bake around the holidays, so you will be seeing some Hungarian pastries that my mother had taught me and my great-grandmother and grandmother taught me on the Hungarian side. We will be doing some of those for the Christmas season that will be a part of the show. But when it comes to cooking and baking, you know, it's funny, a lot of the people that commented, so Betty Evans, who is also AKA known as Graham in our neighborhood, she makes my husband brownies and a lot of the Southern cuisine. And especially when I'm out of town, all the ladies in the neighborhood who I'm so thankful for bring over my husband food, even though he's a great cook. Next door neighbor Maggie, who's been friends of ours for years, always brings a big plate or big pan of lasagna that's gone in about a day and a half. And then also we have others in the neighborhood who bring over Southern cuisine for my husband. But I wanted just to send out thank yous and the comments. My Aunt Monica in Southern New Jersey, who was my mother's cousin, she sent her regards and the pictures. Also, Graham's Betty Evans. And then my friend Lindsay Hayslip sent out pictures and comments. They are all sending hellos to my mom. I'm glad that we're together. Thank you to our friend Allison West, our neighbor Lana Reed, our friends Eileen Cook, my friend Jennifer Cox-Mann, Karen Cruz Brenneman, friends of our family, my cousin Dawn, Cheryl Niebel, who are family friends in Charlotte. Paul Brentley, thank you. My neighbor Jennifer Hatcher Faulkner, our dear friend Debbie Desmond, also Rebecca Cruz, who is a family friend, my cousin Dina, and also Betty, and also our dear friends Tracy and BB, and then Jennifer Harrison, and then Angela Howell Literal. Thank you all for your following and support of this show. It's great to bring it to you. It's great to bring some family and home segments. Also, it's great to talk about what is at the very forefront of our homes. The kitchen table. The kitchen table has a very powerful impact. Also connecting by coffee or connecting over a meal. There's something very important about the kitchen table. And growing up in this home, we were always going to different sporting events or school events, but we always gathered at the kitchen table to have those conversations. And that is what I wanted to impress upon as we're doing the show during the holidays, as we're headed into the holiday season, is to gather around the table, whether it is your friends, whether it is your family, whether it is a stranger who may be new to the area. We have a lot of new people to our area in Eastern North Carolina, and we have been befriending some of our new neighbors and welcoming them into our family and our community. And so as we head into this time of year, think about the kitchen table, think about how we sit down and gather, think about the conversations, put your cell phones in a plastic envelope or a bubbled wrap envelope and leave them. Take family pictures later, take friend pictures later, but really come together to celebrate the holidays, but also to tap into one another and just hear what is going on in our communities. That is so important. Earlier this year, the Camp Lejeune Leadership Seminar Women's Leadership Group asked me to speak 2 days in a row as a veteran spouse, and I was really grateful to be able to talk about the impact of the kitchen table. I'll drill that point home. As I was on the campaign trail, every conversation I had door knocking ended up on the front porch at a table over coffee or over sweet tea or whatever, but it always made an impact. And those stories resonate because that's where you meet people where they are, whether they are your family, whether they are your friends, whether they are acquaintances. But sitting down at the kitchen table is where some of the most important decisions happen in our family and in our nation. Not a presidential speech, not a vote on the Senate or House floor, but in the public square and at the kitchen table. Also, I wanted to just bring you up to date as we have just about 15 minutes left of the show. We will probably end the show on a couple other program notes. But tomorrow, I wanted just to let you know of the conversations we will be having for the rest of the week. We will be doing Harvest Family and Home segments with my mom. We will be doing some segments at the Apple Orchard and just celebrating harvest and what the truth of harvest is in our faith. But also, we will be talking more news of the day. And an article was sent to me yesterday, and I just wanted to kind of prime you for this conversation. It will be Friday morning at 9:30 after the harvest segment. And it is talking about the Salvation Army. It's talking about basically it's an op-ed that was written in let's see, where was this written? I'm looking to see. I apologize. Op-ed is titled, the Western Journal. Yes, the Western Journal published this op-ed, and it's titled, The Salvation Army's Iconic Red Buckets. As we head into this holiday season, we're so used to seeing them at our supermarkets and places that we go to get our food. So the title of the article is, Salvation Army's Iconic Red Buckets Prove Race-Blind Generosity? But now the charity is embracing divisive, quote, training. So Christian Watson, who is with Color Us United, he has been on my show before. He is a spokesperson for Color Us United and the host of Pensive Politics. He can be followed on Twitter at @officialcwatson. He's a great interview, but he wrote this article. And, it's interesting to hear that even the Salvation Army is changing things up in regards to the woke progressive agenda. And how is it that we have to change the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas? Why do we have to change these things? And I'm asking you guys to comment in. Send me your comments, whether they're private. I will read them if you want me to, or if you want to post them on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram, on my Rumble account or my YouTube account. I have been streaming on YouTube until I get censored, people. So make sure you subscribe to all of those accounts. You can see the commentary and see what's going on. And if you missed a show or you wanted to skip to another segment, you are welcome to do that. But I would love your comments on what is happening to our seasons of the holidays. And I'm going to read just a little bit of this article to you so we can come back to it on Friday and we can kind of think through what this means and what Christian Watson will bring to the table. It stated, if there is any organization that should be able to testify to the race-blind generosity of Americans, it is the Salvation Army. The Salvation Army has helped lift millions of all races to live prosperous lives in America. The organization is proof positive that the American dream of equal opportunity for all is alive. Despite that, the Salvation Army has joined in the herd mentality of corporations and universities by imposing counterproductive diversity, equity, and inclusion training on its employees and volunteers. The Army has embraced DEI despite the philosophy's underlying premises that counter the Army's uplifting message of hope. DEI claims America is racist. That really hurts to even read that because we all know that that is not true. The philosophy advocates for the destruction of the nuclear family and even new forms of segregation. Nothing in DEI training can be used to provide the much needed hope that is foundational to enabling those in poverty. Documents from a Salvation Army diversity training last year revealed that the organization has encouraged white members to repent, quote, of the church's racism. The training was loaded with diversive rhetoric about America and, quote, white privilege. Donors, volunteers, and staff at the Salvation Army were rightfully outraged. Every year, millions joyfully put money in the Salvation Army red buckets without having a clue of the recipient's race. This is true because America is not a racist country. So let me stop there for a second. So this is in the Western Journal, written by Christian Watson. He is with Color Us United. He wrote this opinion article. He will be joining us on Friday, the 21st at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time to break this down, the DEI training that the Salvation Army is receiving. And obviously, many donors, volunteers, and staff of the Salvation Army with the Salvation Army are outraged because of this. Let's think about this. My husband and I have this conversation a lot when we go the tithe to the church. We tithe to different organizations. We tithe because we are called to do so as people of faith. And we also want to give to those who may be in need and those who are wanting to raise awareness, to help veterans, to help military families, etc. I'm just using examples. But the conversation that we always have is we will give where God is calling us to give. What is done with the money after that is not on us. If God is calling us to give, we have done what we were called to do. But if that money is taken, my husband's example is always this. If we give to the Catholic Church and that priest decides to go use it on prostitutes, and we all know that this does happen, that's not on us. We gave because God called us to give. The actions of the church or the actions of the Salvation Army, in retrospect, what they are doing, that is not on us who are giving. But yes, we can be, as donors, as volunteers, and as staff, we can be rightfully outraged. The Salvation Army red buckets that we are so used to seeing during the holiday season, bringing cheer, bringing hope for people, really bringing the community together. Maybe I know I am. I want to see people come together at the holiday season, especially because so many people are struggling, especially in this Biden economy, especially as Biden seeks to take away our rights and continue to claim an authoritarian state and call Christians and conservatives extremists. But when we are looking to what the Salvation Army is doing, and all of us have a right to be outraged, we do have a right. So my question to you, as we do this segment on Friday and as we prepare for that segment on Friday, will you now put your money in the Salvation Army red buckets, knowing that they are using this divisive rhetoric about America? Or are you going to choose to put it into other organizations that are not following this agenda? I would love your questions. I would love your thoughts. I would love to hear what you may consider. And as we are sitting here talking about this, there's a lot at stake for our nation, as we are a nation under God. And I will continue to say that and believe that, because I do believe that. As I am processing what this is happening, let's do this. Let's do this. I challenge each and every one of you. Do your research on the Salvation Army. Do your research on other groups in and around your area, whether you live in Eastern North Carolina, whether you live in Ohio. Thank you, Tracy, for your comments about my mama. Yes, I love her too. I appreciate that very much. whether you live in Florida, Freedom, Florida, whether you live in upstate New York, I want to hear your thoughts on, do we give to the Salvation Army this year? I want to know the numbers at the end of the holiday season. I want to know if their numbers have dramatically gone down because of the divisive approach that they are doing. I want to see that. I will be checking on that. But let's also look for opportunities where we can give money to other organizations who aren't as popular as the Salvation Army, who may not be as known, but who still make a huge impact in our community. I can think of two in Eastern North Carolina, Hope Mission and Hope is Alive. Both are amazing organizations in Eastern North Carolina. Are they popular on the national spectrum? No. But are they well known in the Eastern North Carolina area? Yes, they are. Will they be looking for financial support, donors, staff, volunteers for the holiday season? Of course they are. So I would love to hear your thoughts. I'd love to know if you have other suggestions of other organizations we can involve ourselves with as we head into harvest, Thanksgiving, and the Christmas season. And I will continue to say Christmas because it's about Christ. It's not about Santa Claus and it's not about snowmans. Yes, I'd like to decorate with both, but at the end of the day, it's about Christ. And I'm not going to take Christmas out of the season to be politically correct because I'm never politically correct. That's just me. Tracy Bickerstaff, thank you for your friendship. Thank you for your comments about my mother. Thank you for your friendship towards my mother. And thank you for tuning in today. I'm grateful to have your support. I'm so thankful for everyone who tuned in to watch Common Sense America, to see my mom's cooking segment. We had so much fun doing that yesterday. And no, it's not perfect, but you know what? It brought us together. Maybe this northern girl headed back to her southern world can actually make some decent meals that will be equivalent to Southern cuisine. Maybe not, but I know my husband, when he heard I was learning how to make all these recipes, got really excited yesterday and said, oh, great, now I'm really going to put on some weight. So just thank you all for tuning in I would just want to do another shout out to a couple other local Chester County vendors. Again, Milburn is in Elkton, where we're going to be headed in about 30 minutes with my dear friend Sasha. We are headed over to Milburn and Elkton. And then I also just want to send out a thank you to Maple Arch Farm in Parksburg, Pennsylvania, which is Chester County. My father and mother are friends with the owner, and he allowed me to take some fun pictures of their prize-winning pumpkins. And also they make homemade pies and whoopie pies and apple crisp and crumbs and all the things that you can imagine. They make them at their bakery that they have there, along with the apple cider. So if any of you in Eastern North Carolina want me to bring back some treats, just let me know, text me, call me, send me your comments. I'll be bringing back pumpkins, mums. As you can see, there's some beautiful mums here. And then also I will bring back some treats, especially the whoopie pies for all the kids. On that note, it is about 9:56 a.m. Eastern Time. We're going to end the show today on this note. I have to go get ready. Sasha will be here in a few minutes to take me out to the Milburn Orchards, and we're going to show you some fun footage from today's episode, from today, going out there tomorrow and Friday, and then also tonight. If you do not tune in to any other radio station, please tune in to Salem. They are based, well, if you're here in Philadelphia, listen to Chris DeGaulle. And if you're not in Philadelphia, listen to Chris DeGaulle. He's on from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern Time, weekdays, Salem Radio, 990 a.m. The Answer. He does the morning drive, and I tell you what, he hits it hard. He's been in the Philadelphia area for more than a decade. I knew him when he was in Kansas City, Missouri. We met at a Sarah Palin event, and we've been friends ever since. Amazing family man. His wife also has a podcast, and she is an educator as well, and she's talking about the same issues as it pertains to indoctrination versus education. She's a powerhouse. So if you have not had a chance, go listen to 990 a.m., The Morning Drive with Chris DeGaulle. Also tonight, Zeb Gorka, I hear, is going to be at this Battleground Radio Tour, and I believe Gallagher, maybe Dennis Prager, Hugh Hewitt, I'm throwing out the other names, but they're all a part of that. So anyway, on that note, we will have more for you tomorrow. God bless you. Be strong, be courageous, and go get to work. Love you guys. Thank you for joining today.